As you start to create artwork inside of Illustrator, you may find the need to modify or move objects in unison with one another. In order to do this, you'll need to create a group. In this movie, I'll walk you through the basics of grouping objects together and show you how they can help you modify multiple objects at one time. In order to make groups, you have to make a couple of selections first. Let's go up and grab the regular selection tool and then click on a piece of artwork. Once I have that piece of artwork selected, I want to group it with another piece of artwork. Since these two pieces go hand in hand, I'll hold down my Shift key and click this piece of artwork as well. Now I'm ready to group these objects together, so I can then scale and rotate them in unison with one another. In order to make a group, there are two things I can do. I can go to Object and select Group, or as you see out to the right, I can use the keyboard shortcut Command or Control G. That's Command on the Mac, Control on the PC, and the letter G. You can also see directly underneath that, I have the ability to ungroup objects as well, with Shift Control G or Shift Command G on a Mac. If I choose Group, nothing really happens on my canvas, but these objects are now grouped together. So if I click away from them and then click back on this single object, I actually select both of them because they're now grouped. If I click to move them, they both move in unison with one another. As a matter of fact, since they're grouped, the only way to move them independently of each other is to utilize the direct selection tool or something called isolation mode, which we'll talk about in a future movie. If you want to group multiple objects within a group, that's possible as well. I can select this group, hold down my Shift key, and select this group, and use Control G. Then I can hold down my Shift key and select these objects in the second row, hit Control G, and now I've created a group within a group within a group. If I want to start ungrouping these, I can go to Object, Ungroup, and now these are independent of each other, but these are still grouped. In order to ungroup these, Shift Control G or Shift Command G on a Mac. Now if I click away, you'll notice this and this are now separate groups. Again, I can select this object, Shift Control G to ungroup it, and now each individual piece is ungrouped. I can go back over here, Shift Control G, and now these are independent objects as well. As I said, once you've got your objects grouped together, they act as one solid object. But remember, you still have the ability to edit the individual components of a group by using something called isolation mode, which we'll cover in a future movie. Grouping objects is a great way to keep your artwork together and to work with multiple objects at one time. Using groups as well as the keyboard shortcuts for groups is a great way to help you speed up your workflow.